The budget passed by Parliament in June 2021 that announced to 3,806.9 billion, 633.6 was added, which is an increase of 16.6%. The increase in the total expenditure of Rwanda by 2021-2022 will amount to 4.440.5 billion Rwandan francs. The current budget has gone from 2,413.6 billion to 2,784.9 billion, which is an increase of 371.2 billion, which equals to 15.4%. Some of the activities that led to the budget increase include the launch of embassies that will cost 6.9 billion. Some money will be given to various leaders of different entities for upkeep, which will cost 11.9 billion. Some 5 billion will be used to fill the gap in the school feeding program. Some will be used to pay for arrears of the health insurance scheme, as well as an additional 341.5 billion Rwandan francs for the payment of government debt and more. The budget for development has gone from 1,393.2 billion to 1,655.6 billion, which is an increase of 262.4 billion, which is 18.8%. About 80 billion francs will be spent on infrastructure projects such as water, electricity, roads, hospital construction, technology infrastructure, and more. The budget for public investment has gone from 541.6 billion Rwandan francs to 498.1 billion Rwandan francs, which means that it has decreased by 43.6 billion francs, or 8.1%, mainly due to the change in the budget of donors. Professor Omar Munyaneza, Chairperson of National Budget and Patrimony Committee in Parliament, is pleased that the budget continues to grow from a development perspective as it reflects the country's commitment to community development.
MPs who are members of the Budget Commission so underappreciated the increase in the budget for development. This shows that there is a lot of attention being put on the community development because in this revised budget for development, there was an increase of 18.8% and the current budget faced an increase of 15.4%.
On the other hand, the revised budget is expected to increase from within the country from 1,993 billion francs to 2,148 billion Rwandan francs, which means an increase of about 155 billion francs, or 7%. Revenue from tax will come from 1,717.2 billion Rwandan francs of the total budget to 1,759.6 billion Rwandan francs, which is an increase of 42.4 billion Rwandan francs, which equals to 2%. Non-tax revenue will increase from 275.8 billion Rwandan francs to 388.2 billion, which is an increase of 112.4 billion Rwandan francs, or 40.7%. However, some delegates are wondering why there are some government entities that always have tax arrears, with some doing business but are still added more money. A clear example of such companies is WASAC. This company will always have arrears and the government will continue to pour money in it regardless. Yet it doesn't even pay taxes to Rwanda Revenue Authority. I want to ask the Commission if they didn't talk to relevant authorities. It is high time to know if WASAC will continue operating in such ways or if it needs to be replaced by another agency. Because it works ineffectively, yet the government has continued to give it a budget.
WASAC shouldn't be an exception. Honorable Speaker, it has been a while without WASAC having a board chair. Should we say it's because the country lacks potential employees, or it's just arrogance?
Speaking to the plenary session on the revised draft budget on February 7th this year, Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uziel Dadijimana, said that the content of the bill was in line with the country's economy plan in the short term, which is aimed at economic recovery and dealing with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the well-being of the people.
While revising the 2021-2022 national budget, we prioritized measures to deal with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and also implementation of the national budget in the first 6 months of the fiscal year, plus giving attention to loopholes that were evident in some agencies so that they can fulfill their responsibilities during this fiscal year.
The draft law amending the state budget for 2021-2022, which was voted on by the Plenary Session of the Chamber of Deputies, is to be submitted to the President to be signed. Once published in the official gazette, it will begin to be implemented. Martina Abera, RTV News.